Good afternoon and welcome to ZTN News Blitz. A look at our top stories. COVID-19 spells more grief for caged Zimbabweans. Zimbabwe's May Day with a difference. We will tell you more. Madagascar President endorses herbal drink to combat COVID-19. And in sport, will games be the same in empty stadiums? Zimbabwe has arrested over 15,000 people so far for flouting the country's lockdown regulations. Home Affairs Minister Kazembe also called on providers of essential services to do so without contravening the law.
My ministry is, however, concerned with some members of the public who are disregarding the lockdown measures by continuing to gather around central business districts, shopping centers, and residential areas both during the day and night. We are equally disturbed by reports of people who are having parties at home, operating shebeens, and some who are drinking beer in groups whilst closing themselves inside bars and bottle stores. This poses a serious risk to the individuals concerned and the generality of the public at large. It militates against government efforts to manage the pandemic, and therefore there is a requirement that people desist from such tendencies.
Minister Kazembe also urged the public to continue reporting police officers who are taking bribes from people at roadblocks.
We have heard of the allegations. All we ask for, and we always ask for this from the public, if you see anything that you suspect that is a corruption activity, please report it. Because, police officers are human beings. We're not saying it's not happening, but we need to be informed so that we can act. We are also investigating, police are also investigating, and there's evidence by a few that have been arrested so far.
Meanwhile, Police Commissioner General Godwin Matanga said people currently in remand will only appear in court after the lockdown.
For those who should be arraigned before the courts, the standing policy right now is they are remanded to a further date, and they will appear before the court of law after the lockdown period.
Well, some may have a different opinion. A legal practitioner in Zimbabwe, Tulani Ndlovu, shares his thoughts on the matter.
In terms of the constitution, every arrested person or accused person have a right for his or her case to be heard within a reasonable time. But however, that right is not absolute in terms of the same constitution. Rights can be limited, but the limitation has to be rational, it has to be reasonable, it has to be of general application, which means it has to apply to everyone in the same circumstances. However, the courts have been taking into cognizance the fact that it will take a long time for cases to be heard.
Still with the virus, health experts in Zimbabwe say the country is not yet ready to ease lockdown restrictions. Zimbabwe has been on lockdown for over a month now as part of efforts to contain the spread of COVID-19. The lockdown ends this Sunday at midnight, but COVID-19 infections are increasing. 8 new cases were recorded yesterday, taking Zimbabwe's tally to 40 cases. Health and Childcare Secretary Dr. Agnes Mahomva said the decision to lift, ease or extend the lockdown will be informed by experiences from other countries, among other factors.
We've learned in some countries when they lifted, their numbers started shooting up, and we took note. In this particular meeting, for example, we're saying, so what is it that they could have done? What is it that we should do?
Zimbabwe Medical Association Secretary General Dr. Sacrifice Chirisa says more still needs to be done before restrictions on the lockdown are eased.
Unlocking, a full unlocking and say that let's go back to what things were, I think it would be an ill-advised move, especially at this stage. So the purpose of the lockdown was, number one, to flatten the curve, to ensure that we are adequately prepared, and we have made some preparations in terms of to deal with the upsurge. Winter is coming, numbers are starting to spike. we are seeing community infections in the rural areas, in towns, in cities. So if you look at those numbers that we see, and knowing that each person will infect or over maybe 5 to 6 people, so we are already in the hundreds on the ground.
Community Working Group on Health Executive Director Itai Rusike also shared his sentiments on the matter.
To extend, not to extend or to gradually lift the extension should be guided by the WHO guidelines. Zimbabwe is still testing very few numbers. We were hoping that by now we'll be able to test at least about 5,000 a day. But if you see, all in all, we have tested only about 7,000 people since COVID-19 started. So there's still need for us to enhance and scale up, our testing.
Tomorrow is May Day, better known as Workers' Day, which is usually a celebration of laborers throughout the world. However, due to the coronavirus pandemic, there is not much to celebrate for most workers, as many are facing job cuts or reduced salaries. In its third edition of the COVID-19 and the World of Work, the International Labour Organization states that almost 1.6 billion informal economy workers are the most affected. Locally, the Employers Confederation of Zimbabwe President Dr. Israel Marefu told ZTN that most companies will not be able to pay salaries starting end of April.
Employers, through a survey that was conducted by one of our business member organizations, indicated that after April, they will find it difficult to sustain salaries and wages if the lockdown continues at the level it is now. We may not have sufficient capacity as a nation to provide, for example, subsidies or a stimulus package. But I think if other incentives which minimize obligations on companies, if they are put in place, I think they could assist, like, for example, lowering interest rates.
With President Emmerson Mnangagwa having invoked his temporary powers to allow rent payments for residential properties and mortgage payments to be deferred during the lockdown, players in the real estate business say this is just the beginning. Real Estate Institute of Zimbabwe President Mike Juru says there is more to expect as the statutory instrument only deals with domestic matters.
What has been done is, I'm sure, it is the introductory to the issue. It has dealt with residential, whereas we also have commercial, we have industrial. The bulk of the properties in Zimbabwe are owned by pension funds. And pension funds disbursement akusisina, the tax akusisina, iripo, and in the meantime, Zimbabwe said they want their money, but people will not be able to pay the rentals. Where would a landlord find the money? Should they go to a bank and borrow to pay the taxes that are due? So I'm sure it's still work in progress, and the government should be looking at the other aspects. There's more to it.
Is Milimil the new gold in Zimbabwe? Well, residents in Harare's upward suburb will answer yes. Burglars are tormenting residents in the area in search of Milimil and, of course, anything which they can put their hands on. These burglars could be targeting the wrong people after all, as residents claim they are barons who are creating shortages by hoarding the staple for resale on the black market. ZTN spoke to some residents in the suburb southeast of Harare.
Zimbabwe dziri kuuya tiri kunokerwa madhoo uchinzi tipei hupfu apo unobaiwa nebanga uchiverwa hupfu hwacho usina.
Mbavha dzawanda hupfu hwacho hwawandi wari kutipa kunoka uri kuenda ukuti wane mabig boss vachititengesera kuti nema5 US isi tiri warombo kudhara nekudhara.
Mbavha dzawanda konza zvakawanda nevana vadiki vari kungotora nzimbe dzatakasima izvo zvimatomati angu apida maindi apa apira nekudiwa nevanhu saka ii zvakaoma
takungobiwa kutopindiwa mzimba chamu chamu wachipasa chatiwe ndikuda mali munomu wotokwarira wotorumba.
Madagascar President Andry Rajoelina has recommended an organic concoction to cure the COVID-19 patients. He's claimed that the concoction, named COVID Organics, a form of herbal tea, is curing COVID-19 patients, has divided public opinion in the island nation, some 400 kilometers off the coast of East Africa. Taking to Twitter, Rajoelina asked people to believe in the country's ability. He said all profits accrued through the sale of a concoction will be diverted to the Madagascar Institute of Applied Research. But the World Health Organization, WHO, in a statement has warned against any self-medication and said that it has not recommended any medicine as a cure for the COVID-19. Now, in sport, Italian-based Zimbabwe rugby star Brendan Mandivenga believes sport will not be the same in empty stadiums. The Zimbabwe Rugby Academy captain's comments come when there are mixed feelings over restarting sport in empty stadiums or cancelling due to coronavirus.
Been able to finish their season, such as ours here in Italy. They've had to cancel the whole season and have to start again, and it's definitely going to have an impact on how things end and how things begin next season. Other sports as well, they haven't quite cancelled their seasons. They've just delayed the end of the season, and even when things do get better, I think sport will be impacted greatly. Such as, I think, sports such as the Premier League or the Premiership and rugby in the UK, most games may be finished behind closed doors without any fans. So obviously that'll be difficult for teams to obviously play their rugby without any fans. It's quite hard to play without fans, and playing in empty stadiums is obviously going to be different to what people are normally going to be used to playing in.
Now, will Zimbabwe stadiums be able to host matches during the rainy season? This is the question that needs answers amid indications the PSL will convert to the European calendar by default. Global football body FIFA have encouraged leagues to shelve matches for at least 4 months. The possible August kick-off comes at a time when the country's best stadiums have already been condemned by CAF. Tottenham have something to smile about despite the COVID-19 crisis. Captain Harry Kane has recovered from his hamstring injury. The absence of the striker after surgery on January 1 affected Spurs' season after Jose Mourinho's takeover. Now, Kane could just be the fully fit in time for a possible return of the Premier League on June 8. And that's all we had for you on ZTN News. We're back again tomorrow with more news. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms and, of course, our website, ztn.co.zw. Thank you for watching.